Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another episode of Sky Factory 3, and right now, we look absolutely amazing. I love this armor, and I'll tell you what, I am super excited to record today's episode. Do you know why? Because I love making videos, and right now there is a whole bunch of stuff that needs doing in this world. And the night time is not very good for me to show you most of that. We'll sleep in a bed in a... Oh my goodness me, is this thing filling up again? Wow, this stuff fills up so fast. I know what it is. I know what's filling it up. We changed the settings of this last episode, and it is probably producing a ton of netherrack. And that netherrack is not being stored or voided. Oh my goodness me, that is too much netherrack. It is filling up the system. We have to stop it. But we have a crazy amount of materials, as you can see right here. And something we've got to do at the beginning of this episode is fix up our farm down below. We have adjusted this thing many, many times. We're going to give it a sweet upgrade right now and fix a small problem with it. In my inventory, you will see loads of patterns. That one is invisible. I don't know why. I don't know if that's going to cause us a problem, but here is what I want to do. And yay, the sky is changing. It means that we can see what we're doing when we fly down here. I want to upgrade all of these spikes, so we need to do some counting. We've got 2 rows of, let's see, 5, 6, 7, 8. I don't know. I'll count it again in a moment. But the big problem that we have right here is the accumulation of small fellas. Small mobs, zombies, whatever you want to call them. They're really dark and difficult to see because it's all dark in there. You can just about see them on the ledges. I'm going to have to crack open a block here, and that means they might jump up and say hello. We've got Notch hanging out over here. We've got a few more fellas hanging out in the middle spot. That's very popular. And basically what's going on here is there is a little ledge that the small guys can get caught in. And there you go. They come flying out now. What about you guys? No, staying there. Notch, you interested in a little bit of PvP? Oh, yes, he is. Oh, this is great. They're adorable. They are, and now they're getting wrecked. Sorry, Notch. Thanks for the game, but taking a sword to your face. Yeah, what we're going to do is make more of these tanks and move them behind these because they're taking XP from this, I believe. Is that all being done automatically? Because I don't think that has a interface to configure it. So anyway, yeah, let's make a few adjustments here and then let's craft up all of these things. Alright, let's dye these up so that they can... Hang on a second, why am I dyeing both of them? Did it reset the colours when I picked it up? I seem to have lost an ender tank here. Maybe this thing zapped it up before my item dislocator did. Yeah, these things let light through, so as you can see that didn't do enough. What we got to do here is basically make a big box around it. It looks kind of silly because then you've got to cover up these fronts as well, right? And then that looks a little bit ugly. And so we're going to fill it in like that, which means we're going to have to move 1 or 2 things around here. So that's what it looks like now, and this is 15 wide. There are 30 different things down there. We're going to leave this running. I think the best way to take care of this is to go down there and switch off the system when you want to upgrade it. If we were to dismantle it now, it'd have loads of mobs spawning in it, right? So anyway, what we're going to do is chuck all of these patterns into this system right here. That means they're all craftable now, and all of these things are speed upgrades. I love this system. It is so good. And so we want to create 30 mob mashers and then 30 of all of those upgrades. This is literally insane. Now it says they're missing. I'm pretty sure I made a recipe for those, so let's get that thing rolling. Or maybe I didn't. Let's find out. Diamond. Ha, I might have missed one here actually. I don't see diamond spikes. This is bonkers. We are literally going to make 30 of each. And some of these here, I think they might overlap. Like there's Bane of Arthropods and Smite and Sharpness as well. So I don't know what it means to have all of those in, but we're going to put every upgrade to the maximum in each of these. Now wait a minute, no, not to the maximum. I made one of each and these go 10 times each. So actually what we need is 300 of them. 300 of each of these. That is bonkers. Well, there it is, man. That is completely insane. This is going to be tricky to put all of it in my inventory. Wow. That is absolute madness. Well, 300 of each of those. Going to take me several trips to install all of these. And you know what? It looks like we barely spent any of our resources. Oh, gotta love Sky Factory, right? It's very dark, I know, but this is cool. I just hold down shift and then wiggle my mouse over all of that and they all get filled up. Kind of cool, right? Well, there it is, people. That is absolutely bonkers. Upgraded once again. More drops are going to be coming out of that farm. But actually, what I want from this is a loot bags, can you believe it? There's a certain type of loot bag we're after as well, because the project of today's episode requires something you can only get, as far as this mod tells me, from a loot bag, and it is the epic loot bag, which we have some of right here. So this thing's been opening them, putting them into there. Aha, it's opening some more, and then the importer is bringing them into the system. And hopefully we'll get more loot bags now. And I wouldn't be surprised if in all the time I spent setting that up, we have actually got the items that we need, which are dimensional shards. I'm typing into the wrong thing. That was a bit anticlimactic, wasn't it? Oh, look at that. We got some. Excellent. So that means I can now craft something we need for today's episode. Just if you're wondering, if I press R on this, you can see that we get it from a loot bag. I believe that is the only way. There's no other options here, so it worked. What is the next logical step for us in this series? It is to get Nether Stars rolling in. And that's right, you guys can spawn over here. They're going to have a real bad time if they hang out in this area. What we could do is make a relocator obelisk that could just zap them over to one side and drop them into the void. That would be like a one-block dealio, or a two-block dealio, you know, the dimensional transceiver to give it power, and then that little block, and that's a very bad sound. Oh, where have you... There's a fortress over here. I'm going to have to do something about that fortress as well. Well, now I'm thinking I should have built this somewhere else. Anyway, this is what could be a wither farm. It could also be a complete disaster. I have not tested this or figured out if this is going to work or not. We've got so many resources now, I don't really need to worry about stuff getting broken. So, this is a shield template. There is a block, which we can grab, called the... no, that's not the one. That was something else I was going to use, but we're not going to do that now. Where's the block? There it is. This is what we needed the dimensional shards for. This thing, when given power, will turn this into a shield. This is kind of similar to how you've seen me do it before in Hermit Pack, but this time we're going to use something different to spawn in the wither, and that is visible down there. You can see that there is something going on, basically. It is this thing right here called a spawner, and what we have to do is get a syringe of the mob we want to spawn with it. Now, I looked up some videos and I've seen other people do this, so it should be possible, but in my mind, this is where we could run into a little bit of a problem. So we're going to spawn a wither, and then we're going to try and use this syringe on it. And you jab it like, oh, and actually, look at that, it works. Let's whack you really quickly. And is it full? Yep, 100%. We can now spawn a wither in there, apparently. We're not going to do that straight away. Oh, no, because we need to set up the power and get the shield down and stuff like that. Okay, before we go rushing into this thing here says not connected to a spawner. We might have to remove those blocks. You're still not connected. There's this thing here. I'm going to have to go look up a tutorial on how to do this because I've overlooked that bit. I just kind of assumed that these would connect, but basically the spawner has these blocks which get power as well, and they beam matter into this thing, and then it can spawn the wither. Sounds pretty cool, right? So here's the dealio. Everything could go completely wrong right now, but I don't want to fall down there. That would be things going wrong, wouldn't it? I think what we want to do is open this up, chuck in our syringe, and that's not what I was expecting to see. No, it wasn't. Turns out that I don't know how to use that spawner block, so I've torn the whole thing down. We're going to build the old design, you know. I've left a couple of blocks behind. I'm going to go grab those, actually. But basically, we're going to build the design that I know will work. It ain't the Nether, I know. I'm thinking, hey, if we're going to build this farm and I know that it's going to be safe, we can build it here in the overworld. And so I've built it on one of these platforms, and I don't think this particularly matches the theme of the wither. Maybe that one you could get away with a little bit more, so we might change up some of the materials around here. However, these are matching the other platforms, and in the middle here I've decided to stick in the wither farm. This is going to be the same one that we built on Hermit Pack, but we're going to be able to revise things a little bit as well. So if we pop down below, you'll see that already we're throwing in some redstone conduits and doing this a little bit different from how I've done before, but for the most part it's pretty much going to be the same setup. So I figured I'll just build this thing and then I'll show you it when we got it running. That is a priceless view right there, if I've ever seen one. Oh, wiggling around they go. Hi. Me, my new friend. We've got an EFO in a jar over here. I was hanging out AFK, flying around in this area, and a skeleton was shooting at me, and I looked down and there was a skeleton. There was also this fella hanging out in the world, so we have name tagged him with the name Etho, and now he just sits here. And sometimes when I look at him, I see he's got redstone in his hands, but he hasn't got it right now. He's got this shiny iron axe, haven't you, buddy? So if you watched a live stream of mine on Monday earlier in the week when the last episode came out, you'll know exactly what's going on here. For those of you that haven't seen what we did in that live stream, I'm going to kind of give you a refresher as to what's going on right here. This is our automatic wither farm. It works, it's finished, it's not as fast as I'd like it to be, and maybe some parts of it could run a little bit better. This is how we turn it on and off. We're just using a janky lever for now, and when we hit the switch, it doesn't start straight away because it's based on this timer back here. So whenever that kicks in, that's when it's going to start. And down here we've got a pretty cool little system. We have brown going in for soul sand, and around the back here we've got black going in for the wither skulls, and 2 connections right there to grab them out of the dimensional transceiver. And there it goes, it's creating some withers. Amazing. It's also not got the wither bar at the top of the screen, which is interesting. I think I know why. Ha! A little bit of a bug I've discovered there. So, hideous noises. Loads of bars on the top of the screen. It's not good, right? We don't want that. That's why we got these 2 blocks. So if we put this thing here... It's really funny how I discovered this. I have used this before, but it cracked me up. I right-clicked on it, and bam! He's got some glasses on, man. He looks super cool. And that just gets rid of the bar at the top. It doesn't get rid of the noise, though. Okay, so it's making a load of noise. That's why we have this thing. Oops! Let's hold down shift. One of those is called the Enderman Wither. So, yeah, I can just about see the edge of some Enderman heads there. All the different withers are so cool. So, yeah, anyway, you can see what it's doing. On the timer, it's going to try and spawn about, I think, 6 or 8 of them in total. Let's have a look. What did we set it to? Yeah, it's going to try and do 8, and I think it actually gets about 6 of them in there. I haven't watched and counted them all die yet. But we ran into some strange problems. Basically what we had was not understanding how the blocks are working. There's lots of different logic available down here. And then not fully understanding that this timer doesn't require any form of input over here to tell it what to do. It actually just operates on its own. And so after a lot of trial and error, we eventually got it working. There are a few other factors as well, like how these work. We've got them on redstone pulse. And I think that's kind of all of it, really. It took us a while to set up this shield over here. We had to set it to hostile and soul damage and put it on generic. If you put it on player, as if a player has killed the mob, it doesn't actually drop the nether star, which is really strange. So then we got a vacuum chest down here to pick up those items, and we got a XP vacuum to pick up those. You can see the ender tank is full, and I think we're producing so much XP down here that the system can barely keep up. That might become a problem at some point. What we'll end up doing is simply changing the dies and opening like an extra channel, and then have another one of those experience orbs up the top here, and that will absorb all of it in. But we don't need to do that right now. In fact, what we do need to do right now is check on how much soul sand we have available. Last time I typed this in, nothing there at all, which means we should see the last of it inside of this thing. Ah, it's become very unbalanced now, I see. That's important to know, because if it ends up with all wither skulls, then it'll be out of being able to send over soul sand. So what we need to do is keep that thing going. I don't know how it would become, like, uneven like that as well. Anyway, so how do we create soul sand? Jeez, I just took it out of my inventory. I'm not very good at this, am I? So we need to create soul sand. When it comes to wither skulls, check this out. If I type in skull, 16,000. We don't need to worry about anything at all right now. But when it comes to the soul sand, what we need to do is figure out the recipe for this. So we can get it from a void miner, which is something we'll do later on in the pack. But for right now, oh, we can also get it from loot bags. Probably won't get enough of it to sustain our farm, right? So what we can do is fluid block transform. I think we have a sand generator somewhere. Let's type in sand. Yeah, I'm pretty sure I can figure out a way to add some extra sand into our system from our sieves over here. So let's say we can get hold of the sand nice and easy. Then what we want to do is this all over again, I believe. We want to get the witch water in there and then put in... Wait a minute! This is already the farm that I wanted to build, isn't it? Oh my god! Facepalm moment. Well, like a great facepalm. That's the best facepalm we've ever had. Where do these items go? Do they go into this chest? We're already producing exactly what I want, right? Or am I being a complete derp? No, look, sand comes out of here. Yellow is sand. Oh my goodness me, of course. Okay, I know you're thinking, like, what on earth is going on with X right now? Like, he already has a soul sand farm and he's just realised it. I vaguely remember that we did something over here that was very similar, right? It was a similar setup with mycelium and witch water, and I thought all we got to do is build another one of those and make it work for soul sand. But of course, we sieved soul sand to get tons and tons of quartz. And actually, I think somewhere here it might still be going somewhere and doing something, but I just haven't been able to find the conduit where it connects to whatever is doing all of that jazz, if any of that even makes any sense. So now we're sending soul sand back into the system. We would be smart to sort out those wither skulls, and also we need to check on how many nether stars we've got. I really wish I could turn those eyes off. I was thinking, man, I'm going to look like such a pro in my crazy cool armour with my nether stars, and no. No, I look silly. Let's check out how many we got in the system here. Yeah, you can't look, you can't access your offhand when you go into this bit right here. It just sort of occurred to me. So, we'll type in Nether Star, and we will see how many of those we have. 350, that's pretty impressive. I've turned the farm off for a moment. We're going to let the soul sand gather up, and then we'll get it running again. But where the world has been running for so long, we have a redonkulous amount of items around here as well. You can see all of our disk drives are full up, and down here I filled this one up with 64k disks. The first one's filled up, the next one is getting close to being full. It is crazy just how many items constantly pump into our system thanks to our quarry, and also thanks to our mob farm all the way down here. The passive mob farm never seems to be doing anything. I never see a mob there, and I'm sure there is. We can do a little check by typing in raw, and we should see at least like 1,000 of something. Okay, that to me says, yeah, it's probably running just very slow. Where else do we have grass in this area? I got rid of the stuff down here, right? Yeah, so I don't know. I've got a feeling, a sneaky suspicion that maybe some of these chickens are actually contributing to the mob cap or something like that. We've also got grass there, but nothing spawning on it. So I don't know, but what I do know is it's been a short episode. The objective was just to set up that farm, so when me and Ren get back together in this world, we can do some more stuff with the Yaverian tools and armor, which also reminds me, by the way, we can open this thing up and tick off automate wither killing. We've done that now, but that is it from me this episode, peeps. If you have enjoyed it, please do leave a like. As always, thank you so much for your wonderful support, and I'll see you soon with another episode. Bye-bye!